They might hide it, but last year Kim Jong-un confiscated entire dog from the population.
All the dogs?
Yeah.
That was because of COVID-19, right?
No, because
wasn't?
he said it was a corrupt Western sentiment where we have pets. So he ordered to kill the entire dogs for the meat. So get rid of dogs, because even he just didn't like that it looks like Western having a dog, having a real friendly relationship with the animals.
Since the 17th century, Korea has been nicknamed the Hermit Kingdom due to its staunch isolationist policies. This stigma persists within the northern half of the peninsula to this very day, under the iron grip of the authoritarian Kim dynasty. While the regime has long departed from the egalitarian and democratic ideals of Marxist socialism, there is no doubt there are aspects of socialism to be salvaged from North Korea, whether it's the dynamic revolutionary music, collectivist parlance, or anti-imperialist artwork. It's important not to toss the baby with the bathwater when analyzing and critiquing false socialist regimes. One aspect in particular that I feel would be most appealing to anti-dog crusaders is the recent ban on dogs in North Korea. According to an article written in March of last year on the Daily NK website, the government of North Korea has issued a nationwide condemnation of dog ownership, labeling the practice as anti-socialist behavior. The Socialist Women's Union of Korea has also come forth in rebuke of dog ownership, claiming that the act of keeping, eating and sleeping with dogs is anti-socialist and bourgeois. According to some sources, dog ownership really wasn't a thing in North Korea until the early 2000s, and even then it was rare and typically reserved for government officials and wealthy upper-class families known as the donju. The purpose of dogs in these instances was strictly for security purposes. Another use for dogs in the DPRK is for food. They are reared like any other livestock and slaughtered for their red meat and fur. Aside from that, there is really no other practical use for these creatures. The very act of treating dogs like human beings should most definitely be rejected and ridiculed, especially within a socialist society. Among the many scores of reasons as to why dogs have no business in human civilization, infectious diseases and parasitic organisms should be among the most obvious, whether it's Brucellosis campylobacter I capnosotophaga cryptosporidis tapeworm echinococosis giardia hookworm leptospirosis MRSA plague rabies ringworm roundworm salmonella sarcoptic mange tick-borne and tularemia, just to name a few. In addition to them being living petri dishes of pandemic proportions, dogs are a social nuisance. They pollute the airwaves with their obstreperous barking noises, which aren't only an audio inconvenience, but pose potential health hazards in humans and natural animals alike. To quote from barkingdogs.net,
"You first need to understand that the human body has a mind of its own, by which I mean that the inner workings of our bodies, like breathing, digestion, the regulation of hormonal levels, alterations in blood flow, and the beating of our hearts, among others, are all regulated below the level of conscious awareness. These inner workings of the human body are part of something called the autonomic nervous system, which is closely linked to the endocrine system. The more you know about those two bodily systems, the easier it will be for you to understand the mechanism whereby noise destroys all that humankind holds most dear. The unconscious processes of the human body must find their own pace because, to function optimally, the speed with which the inner body goes about its business must fluctuate if it is to effectively facilitate the activity in which we are engaged at the moment. Sometimes our hearts pound and we breathe quickly as our bodies gear up for an exciting or strenuous event, and sometimes we relax as our inner, autonomic processes slow, in an attempt to gear down for a non-threatening or a physically undemanding event. It is important to note that the speeding up and the slowing down of our inner, autonomic functioning is regulated by a particular part of the brain called the hypothalamus, which sends electrical messages that cause a body-wide transformation as many of our inner processes speed up or slow down in unison. You can't be excited or alert without your autonomic processes first shifting into a higher gear, and you can't relax or fall asleep unless your inner system slows down. Therefore, our energy level and our level of attentiveness, as well as our ability to relax and fall asleep, are all determined and limited by our autonomic processes. Even our ability to function sexually is dependent upon the capacity of our autonomic nervous systems to transform themselves as necessary. in order to carry us smoothly between the dimensions of tension and relaxation, as it constantly adjusts to keep us in a state of being that is consistent with the task at hand. To understand how people are impacted by noise force-fed into their homes, you also have to realize that emotion is physical in nature, by which I mean that you can only experience a given emotion if you are physiologically in a state that is consistent with that emotion. For example, you can't feel depressed or deeply mellow unless your autonomic processes slow way down, and you can't feel panicky or wildly elated unless they speed way up. Therefore, emotion is a physiologically based phenomenon in that along with fluctuations in our autonomic function come shifts in our endocrine systems, as hormones are released into our bloodstreams that cause us to experience a given emotion. Without the necessary hormones present in your system, you cannot experience a given emotion, and with those hormones in your bloodstream, there is no way that you can avoid experiencing that particular emotion. The emotion we feel is one with the consciousness we experience, and both are determined by the state of our autonomic and endocrine systems. Indeed, among other things, consciousness, blood flow patterns, energy level, alertness, muscle tension, digestion, and sexual functioning, along with one's emotional state, all fluctuate in tandem with our autonomic processes. Our health, our happiness, and our ability to function effectively, then, are all dependent on our autonomic nervous systems being in proper trim, so that our level of autonomic arousal can fluctuate as our physical condition and our external circumstance dictate.
Dr. Emoto has conducted another interesting experiment. He placed rice into 3 glass beakers and covered it with water. And then every day for a month, he said, "Thank you" to one beaker, "You're an idiot" to the second, and the third one he completely ignored. After 1 month, the rice that had been thanked began to ferment, giving off a strong, pleasant aroma. The rice in the second beaker turned black, and the rice that was ignored began to rot. Dr. Emoto thinks that this experiment provides an important lesson, especially with regard to how we treat children. We should take care of them, give them attention, and converse with them. Indifference does the greatest harm.
Tell some dreamy story, but almost.
In layman's terms, humanity is a social species. We are highly advanced organisms who are highly sensitive and receptive to the sounds waves in our environment. The sounds we reciprocate aren't limited to human speech, but the sounds of nature, music, and of course other animals. Sound influences human beings in both helpful and harmful ways, shaping our physical, emotional, and even biological states. Pleasant sounds, such as music, nature noises, or calming rhythms, can reduce stress, steady breathing, and heart rate, and improve mood. Certain frequencies can enhance concentration, support meditation, and promote better sleep. Rhythmic sound can help regulate movement and coordination, which is why music therapy supports healing and rehabilitation. Since the human body is largely composed of water, sound vibrations can influence it physically. Sound travels efficiently through fluid, meaning vibrations can subtly affect cellular environments and the distribution of water within tissues. While claims of dramatic restructuring of water molecules are largely regarded as quote-unquote pseudoscience, it's well established that sound waves create measurable mechanical vibrations in bodily fluids, akin to Dr. Emoto's experiments. These vibrations can contribute to relaxation when gentle and harmonic, or tension and discomfort when harsh or excessively loud. In essence, sound acts as both a therapeutic force and a potential stressor, depending on its frequency, volume, and context. The positive effects of sound on human beings are wide-ranging, impacting physical, psychological, and cognitive well-being. Here's a detailed look, with sources. Listening to music, especially with a slow tempo, low pitch, and without lyrics, can calm people during stressful events. It can prevent anxiety-induced increases in heart rate, systolic blood pressure, and decrease cortisol levels, which are biological markers of stress. Music can also improve mood, reduce anxiety, and stave off fatigue. Natural sounds like birdsong, wind, and ocean waves induce tranquility and relaxation. These sounds can alter brain connections, reduce the body's fight-or-flight response, alleviate stress and anxiety, and enhance mental health. Sound therapy, including sound baths, produces a state of relaxation that may reduce stress and anxiety by quieting thoughts and lowering heart rate and blood pressure. Specific frequencies, like binaural beats, can reduce cortisol levels, lowering stress and promoting relaxation. Music can trigger the release of neurochemicals that play a role in brain function and mental health, such as dopamine associated with pleasure, serotonin, related to immunity, and oxytocin fostering connection to others. Sound baths can produce relaxation, reducing tension, anger, fatigue, and depression. Listening to preferred sounds can be an enjoyable experience, increasing feelings of well-being and significantly improving mental health. Listening to music can improve mental alertness and memory. Background music can improve performance on cognitive tasks in older adults, with upbeat music improving processing speed and both upbeat and downbeat music benefiting memory. Using binaural beats before or during a task may help with memory and attention. Consistent listening to binaural beats may increase motor and cognitive processing speeds. Taking music lessons can improve attention, memory, and problem-solving abilities. Sound-based vibration treatment can improve mobility, reduce muscle pain and stiffness, increase blood circulation, and lower blood pressure. It has been shown to help people with pain from arthritis, menstrual pain, post-operative pain, and knee replacement pain. These practices reduce perceived pain by relaxing the body and affecting stress hormones. Low-frequency sound stimulation can improve sleep and decrease pain, allowing individuals to reduce pain medication. Furthermore, listening to music can also improve sleep quality. Nature sounds can aid in falling asleep and enhance sleep quality. Sound healing can shift brainwave activity into theta and delta states, which are linked to deep rest and dreaming. Rhythmic sound, like gong baths, helps the brain entrain to natural sleep cycles. Listening to energetic music while exercising can increase physical performance and endurance. Syncing workouts to music can allow individuals to reach peak performance using less oxygen. Shared musical experiences at concerts and festivals can enhance social connections and mood. Music can help marginalized people feel more connected and empowered, increasing overall well-being and self-esteem. Sound healing can facilitate emotional release and promote self-awareness. Some studies suggest music may help lower stress hormones like cortisol and reduce inflammation, which could indirectly support immune function. Sound healing can reduce stress, enhance relaxation, and improve mood stability, benefiting individuals in addiction recovery. Sound, whether in the form of music, nature, or therapeutic interventions, can be a powerful tool for enhancing various aspects of human health and well-being. Inversely, these are the negative effects of sound on human beings, explained in depth. Excessive or unpredictable noise activates the body's stress response. The autonomic nervous system interprets loud or chaotic sounds as potential threats, raising cortisol, adrenaline, heart rate, and blood pressure. When this happens repeatedly, as in urban environments, crowded workplaces, or homes near traffic, people may experience chronic stress, irritability, and difficulty relaxing even when the noise stops. Research shows that long-term exposure to noise pollution, traffic, aircraft, industrial noise, is associated with elevated cortisol levels, increased risk of hypertension, heightened anxiety and mental fatigue, and greater emotional reactivity. Sound is one of the most common disruptors of sleep. Even relatively quiet but inconsistent noises can pull the brain from deeper sleep stages without fully waking the person, leading to poor sleep quality, daytime drowsiness, impaired memory and focus, and irritability and emotional instability. Sudden loud noises, like sirens, shouting, or slamming doors, can cause microarousals that prevent the restorative phases of sleep, which increases long-term risks for metabolic and cardiovascular problems. Exposure to loud sound, especially above 85 decibels over long periods, can damage the hair cells in the inner ear. These cells do not regenerate, meaning the hearing loss is permanent. Common consequences include noise-induced hearing loss, tinnitus, ringing in the ears, difficulty understanding speech, and increased cognitive load, since the brain must work harder to interpret sound. Frequent exposure to loud music through headphones, concerts, machinery, or firearms dramatically accelerates this damage. Noisy environments make it harder for the brain to focus, process information, and store memories. Studies show that children living near noisy areas, such as airports or major roads, demonstrate slower development in reading, attention, and problem-solving compared to children in quieter environments. In adults, chronic noise is linked to reduced concentration, slower reaction times, impaired decision-making, and greater mental fatigue. Even harmless consistent noise, like HVAC systems or humming appliances, can subtly degrade cognitive performance over time. Persistent or intrusive noise can erode emotional stability. People living with noise pollution report higher rates of depression and frustration, lower patience and tolerance, increased aggression, and social withdrawal. Noise can create a feeling of being constantly overwhelmed, which reduces emotional resilience and coping ability. Because noise stimulates the stress response, chronic exposure increases risks for hypertension, heart disease, and stroke. The World Health Organization has identified environmental noise as a significant contributor to global cardiovascular burden. The human body is composed of about 60% water, and sound travels faster and more efficiently through liquids than through air. While claims that sound radically restructures water molecules are yet to be acknowledged by mainstream science, sound does create measurable physical vibrations in body fluids. Negative sound exposure, particularly low-frequency rumbling or very loud sound, can increase tension in muscles and tissues, create uncomfortable internal vibrations, and disrupt natural bodily rhythms, such as heartbeat and breathing patterns. In extreme cases, very intense low-frequency sound, infrasound, can cause nausea, headaches, or a sense of unease, partly due to how these vibrations move through the fluid-filled organs. Noise interference in workplaces and homes decreases work accuracy, motivation, ability to relax or enjoy quiet activities, and overall life satisfaction. Even moderate background noise can drain mental energy and diminish a person's sense of control over their environment. So one can only imagine the long-term ramifications of excessive dog barking. Enclosing dogs are not just auditory nuisance but an existential threat to humanity. This threat, however, isn't something which arose naturally, but was man-made and fecundated upon the general public via capitalism. It's unlikely that dogs and dog culture would be as pervasive as they are today if capitalism never existed, which is why abolishing said system is instrumental. Those who are consciously engaged in the struggle against capitalism with the end goal of facilitating a democratic, worker-owned society are known as socialists. And said society is what Marx described in his books as communism. If anti-dog crusaders truly want to liberate themselves and humanity from the malevolent bane of dog culture, then it is quintessential for them to embrace a socialist mindset. Communism is a collectivist ideology, meaning it prioritizes the well-being of the collective, that being the working class, over the interests of private corporations and oligarchs who are notorious for promoting dogs and dog culture. Without collective ownership over the means of production, let alone the state apparatus which facilitates the existence of capitalism, the crusade against dogs and dog culture will remain an uphill battle with no clear apex. What needs to happen next is a collective awakening towards the importance of worker solidarity and collective democratic ownership over the means of production. This task may seem easier said than done, especially in the American empire where hyper-individualism is the law of the land. But remember, it only takes a small percentage of the population who truly gets it to make a difference on a mass scale. So instead of merely reacting to dog attacks and other nuisances associated with canines, I recommend shifting the attention inward and begin conceptualizing an ideal communist society where everyone is living in peaceful, prosperous lives without dogs in sight. Imagine North Korea as a democratic society with free speech, cultural vivacity, and a strong centralized government with checks and balances akin to the US Constitution, minus the overtly racist imperialism of the American empire, of course. This to me seems the only way in which dog crusaders can accomplish their goal in finally cleansing the world of the dog menace for good. But with that said, this is Morpheus Christos, signing off.
Welcome back to Bluegrass. This beautiful September afternoon. I'm out with Norman, a Bulgarian Karachikhan, and you'll notice I have some papers in my hand. So I'm going to do a couple of things right now. I'm going to kind of work Norman, so you're going to hear some clicking and treating, but in between the clicking and treating, I'm going to read you a little research I did, okay? And so kind of the video is going to be partly about training this dog because I'm going to be multitasking, okay? And it's partly going to be about something kind of important that came about as a result of a comment in another video with Norman in it. Come on, dude, you can do it. So we made a video a week or two ago, and we were just out hiking with Norman, and somebody in the comments said that we were very lucky to have access to Norman because in his home country of Bulgaria, the communists had tried to kill all of the dogs. And I was like, what? Why would the communists want to kill all the dogs, you know? And so I just on a lark, I jumped on the computer and I went to one of those AIs and I typed in, why did communists kill all the dogs in Bulgaria, right? And the very thing that pops up, the very first thing that pops up, come on Norman, you can do it, is, you know, they start talking about how when the communists came to power, they started to eradicate stray dogs. And their, you know, kind of their reasoning behind that was if they eradicated the stray dogs, they got rid of disease, and they kind of were able to recapture some of the resources that were being wasted on stray dog management. Okay, and I thought, okay, well that seems kind of interesting, you know, but it seems a little bit sanitized. So then I said specifically, why did the communists kill livestock guardian dogs and other farm dogs? And this is where it all got really interesting. Come on, Norman, you can do it. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Come on, big boy. Now, while we're working, Norman, you will, if you start to do some research about what a Bulgarian Karachikhan is, he's a livestock guardian dog. And livestock guardian dogs are not dogs that are bred to do highly complex jobs in conjunction with a handler. So you'll notice that he's not like Memphis, where he's not like he's not finding this this form of schoolwork the most interesting. Okay, but I thought it kind of goes with the video. So I said specifically, why did the communists kill livestock guardian dogs and other farm dogs? And it said the primary reasons were the elimination of private property, control over resources, which forced people into state-controlled jobs. In essence, killing these highly specialized and valuable working dogs was not a random act of cruelty, but a calculated step to destroy the existing rural class, eradicate private farming, and assert absolute control. So already this little conversation, come on dude, that I'm having with this AI is getting pretty dark, right? You know, I mean, I just kind of on a whim said, why did communists kill dogs? And the next thing I know, AI is telling me that the communists wanted to kill dogs, and it wasn't about the dogs, it was about the people that owned the dogs.